رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulih nabiyil kareem wa ala alihi ashabihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. Welcome everyone for joining us today. Those who have been waiting will be starting the session within a few minutes from now. Let me quickly walk you through to your Zoom screens. At the bottom of your screen, you will see few options. One of them would be chat, Q&A, and raise your hand. In the chat box, you can greet the panelist. You can tell us if there is any difficulty in listening on visuals you're having. Okay, we'll be broadcasting the session live on social media as well. In the Q&A session, you can ask the questions. During the session, if you have any question, you can type in there. Our moderator will pick up those questions and ask the questions to the advisor at the end of the session. The option of raise hand, you can click on raise hand. You'll be notified whoever wants to have an open mic session with the Sheikh and ask the relevant questions. So let me give you a quick introduction to TAIF. TAIF Digital Institute is created to lead the way through new age approach of training and awareness of Islamic finance. TAIF is providing end-to-end digital learning solution to Islamic banks and Islamic finance institutions. TAIF is combining Islamic finance knowledge and technology together and presenting it to the masses of the Ummah. TAIF offers to make Islamic banking and finance to the world as a commercially viable solution by digitalizing it and making it available to all. So before further ado, let me introduce you to our today's speaker, Sheikh Fazal Rahim Abdul Rahim. Sheikh Fazal is an accomplished Sharia scholar, advising in the field of Islamic banking and finance with more than 22 years of experience. He has a vast experience in rendering Sharia advices in relation to Islamic products, services, and transaction across the Islamic banking and finance industries, and continue to collaborate closely with regional Sharia scholars. Sheikh Fazal has undertaken and produced extensive research on many contemporary Islamic finance and banking topics. He is a member of Sharia board of numerous Islamic investments and financing companies. He is a member of Islamic Banking Committee of the UAE Banking Federation. We are glad to have Sheikh Fazal Rahim with us, and we are glad to have him as a Sharia scholar with TAIF. Thank you, Sheikh Fazal Rahim, for joining us today. The mic is yours.
Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وسندنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Our main topic of discussion is Murabaha. However, without knowing the fundamental features of aqd or contract from Sharia point of view, it will be difficult to understand Murabaha. Moreover, as you are aware that Murabaha is a sale contract, therefore without knowing the features of sale contract, it will be very difficult to understand the difference between the Murabaha sale and the conventional loan. So we will talk about aqd or contract, then we will discuss the Murabaha sale, then we will discuss the sale in general, and then we shall move to Murabaha inshallah. Let me ask you a question. What is aqd? If you want a definition of aqd, What will be the definition of aqd? The definition of aqd or contract as per Thomson Round Hall is a contract is a legally binding document that recognizes and governs the rights and duties of the parties to the agreement. But from Sharia perspective, the definition could be a little bit different. In Arabic, from Islamic jurisprudence point of view, the aqd or agreement or contract is defined as al-aqdu ittifaqun bayna tarafayn aw akthar wa irtibatu ijab ahadihima biqabul al-akhar ala wajhin mashru' yathbutu atharuhu fi mahallihi. The translation of this Arabic definition is aqd is an agreement between two or more parties, which is the link between the offer of one of them with the other, where its effect proves in its place. And we can simply define the contract in the following way. Aqd is an agreement between two or more parties to execute a transaction. Transaction could be any transaction, sale transaction, lease transaction, and service transaction, any transaction, but the aqd will be the agreement between two or more parties to execute a transaction. What is the legitimacy of aqd from the Holy Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu bil-uqud. O you who believe, fulfill your obligations. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Isra, wa awfu bil-ahdi innal ahda kana mas'ula. And fulfill every covenant, verily the covenant will be questioned about. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, in Ayat Al-Mudayana, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha tadayantum bidaynin ila ajalin musammam faktubuh. O believers, when you enter in the transaction of any debt for a fixed period, then write it down. And at the end of the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْتَشْهِدُوا شَهِيدَيْنِ مِنْ رِجَالِكُمْ. And get two witnesses out of your own men. Now, the pillars of the contract or arkan al-aqd from Sharia point of view are four. There must be mutaqideen, and between the mutaqideen there must be ijab and qabul. The mutaqideen means the contracting parties, and in between of them there must be offer and acceptance. Then there will be subject matter, which is called al-mabi'. This could be asset, could be usufruct of any asset, and then the price, thaman, which is called in Arabic al-thaman, the price. And the fourth thing is the al-qabd, the position or delivery. We will explain all these pillars in sale when we will reach to the sale section. There we will explain all these four in detail, inshallah. Now let me give you the types of contract from Sharia permissibility point of view. What are the permissible contracts and what are the impermissible contracts? There is a aqd or contract which is called al-aqd as-sahih, the valid contract. Which is what is the valid contract? The contract in which all the pillars and conditions of the contract are Sharia compliant. All arkan, all elements of the contract are Sharia compliant, and all conditions of the contract are Sharia compliant. That contract is called al-aqd as-sahih or the valid contract. This is the only contract which is acceptable in Islamic banking. The second type is the void contract or al-aqd al-batil. Al-aqd al-batil is the contract in which there is Sharia valuations related to the pillars, arkan, main elements which we discussed for, will make the contract void. If that valuation is not addressed before execution of the contract, it will result on a financial or reputational loss or damage to the institution, Islamic finance institution. This contract is not acceptable in any shape, and if executed, it will be a major Sharia risk for the Islamic financial institution. The transaction will be repugnant and the profit shall be transferred to charity. Then there is a aqd which is called aqd fasid, al-aqd al-fasid, the void but recoverable contract. Sharia violations or deficiency related to the conditions of the contract will make the contract void, but it will be recoverable. If the deficiency removed, the contract will be acceptable. This contract is not acceptable in any shape, and if executed, it will be a medium Sharia risk for the Islamic finance institution. If the deficiency remained unsolved, transaction will be repugnant and profits shall be transferred to charity. Let me give you a brief idea about the commercial contracts in Islamic jurisprudence. Although our topic is related to Murabaha and sale contract, but overall, I want to give you overall types of commercial contracts in the Islamic Sharia. There are contracts which are called uqud al-muawadat al-maliyya. Uqud al-muawadat al-maliyya means the monetary compensatory contracts. These are all kind of sale contracts, buyu'a, bisifa amma, and the lease contracts, ijara contract, and the ju'ala contract is another type of working contract. Normally in banks it is not used, but the all kind of sale contracts, which we will discuss in the next slide. What are the types of sale contracts? And the lease contracts, which is the operational lease. You have the ijara muntahiya bit tamlik, ending on ownership, and the ijara mawsufa fi zimma. And then there are contracts which are called uqud al-musharakat. Uqud al-musharakat are the investment contracts. These are mainly mudaraba and musharaka. Mudaraba, you know, and musharaka is also banks are using. However, the other three types are rarely used in banks. Islamic Development Bank is using these products, but other banks, normal commercial banks, are not using. These are the muzara contract, which is the agriculture contract, and mugharasa contract is the plantation contract, and the musaqa is the irrigation contract. And mudaraba, you know, mudaraba is the partnership between the Rabbul Mal and the fund manager, the fund owner and the fund manager. And musharaka is the partnership contract between two partners or more. The third type is the uqud at-tabarru'at. These are the voluntary contracts. There is no compensation in these contracts. These are mainly qard contract, and qard another type of qard is qard al-hasan, and there is wasiyya, which is will, and there is waqf, endowment. There is i'ara, is the same like lease but without any compensation, and hiba is a gift contract. The fourth type of contract is the uqud tabi'a, or the supplementary contracts. These are not the main contracts. These contracts are a part of another transaction. For example, rahan, which is mortgage. Mortgage will never be a main contract. It will be a supplementary contract to a sale contract, or to a jara contract, or to musharaka contract, or any other contract. Similarly, wakala is an agency. Okay, there is a new kind of investment contract which the banks are using normally since last 3 decades, which is called the wakala investment contract. I was able to show it under the investment, but physically it is not an investment, it is an agency. The customer is a muwakkil and bank is the wakil, and in that scenario the bank is investing the money of the muwakkil in its wakala pool and generating the profit, which will be given completely to the muwakkil. However, if the muwakkil agreed upon that he will take a certain percentage, okay, a certain anticipated amount, and whatever made profit above that percentage will be given as incentive to the wakil, that is possible. And there is a contract called kafala contract. Kafala is a guarantee. It could be letter of guarantee or could be an irrevocable guarantee, which we are normally using as a kafala in the finance institutions. And there is hawala. Hawala is the transfer contract. So these are in general the commercial contracts from Islamic jurisprudence point of view. Okay, what are the documents from Sharia perspective? There are two kinds of documents from Sharia perspective. One is the bilateral documents and another is the unilateral documents. So if a document is a bilateral, then it is called aqd, because both parties have their obligations, their rights, their responsibilities. So then it will be a bilateral document. So it is called aqd, and all kind of uqud like sale contract, ijara contract, salam, musharaka, mudaraba, and many others. And there is another type is the unilateral documents, which are normally wu'ud or promises, wa'ad, promise. And the example of these documents are the purchase undertaking, sale undertaking, promise to lease, and promise to purchase, wa'ad in currencies, etc. Now we are coming to our main topic, sale in Sharia, al-bay'u fi Sharia. Okay, before going to sale, we must know the definition of the sale. Sharia is giving very beautiful definition of the sale. The definition of the sale as per Sharia or as per Islamic jurisprudence, Islamic fiqh, the sale could be defined as mubadalatu malin bi malin bitaradi. That is the exchange of a valuable thing by another valuable thing with mutual consent. The Arabic language is very comprehensive language. It covers in a few words a big ocean. If we read carefully this definition, we can write a big book on this definition. The definition is saying mubadala, which means exchange, and exchange is happening between two or more parties. One party could not exchange anything. So mubadala is happening between two parties. It means there must be offer and acceptance, and there must be exchange of things. So there must be a delivery. So two pillars or two arkan of aqd are covered under the word mubadala. Mal, bimal, mal means the subject matter, bimal means the price. So the other two arkan are also covered in three words, mubadalatu, malin, bimal. With taradi, definitely there is no sale without the mutual consent. We can more specifically define the sale as the sale of a subject matter mabi in exchange of price. Now, for each and everything, we should have a Sharia legitimacy. legitimacy of sale from the Holy Quran, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permitted the sale and forbidden the interest. What are the types of sale in Islamic jurisprudence? Although our topic is related to Murabaha, but it is interesting that the conventional bank in all its products, you name it, corporate products, investment products, consumer banking products, treasury products, in all their products, whatever the commercial names they want to give to their products, the underlying contract is only one contract, and that is the loan agreement. All their transactions are based on loan. Mortgage finance, mortgage loan, it is based on the loan. Overdraft, based on the loan module. Car finance, goods finance, any kind of product you will take, that the base is the loan agreement. However, in Islamic banking, if someone want to create real products, you have more than 20 real contracts. Only in sale, you have around 6 or 7 contracts, and there will be many applications of these sale contracts. So, for example, for currencies, we are using the bay as-sarf for gold, silver, and currencies. For all FX transactions, we are using the contract bay as-sarf. Then for exchange of goods by goods, which is the barter system, we are using a contract called bay al-muqayada. Bay al-muqayada. Here I would like to tell you that the similar goods in excess are not allowed to be exchanged. For example, dates by dates, where one person is giving 1 kg date and the another person is giving 2 kg dates, that exchange is not allowed. But in different commodities, it is allowed. Bay as-salam is a type of sale in which the price is spot, but delivery is deferred. This is opposite to Murabaha. Murabaha, the asset will be delivered on spot, and if the Murabaha is deferred on deferred sale basis, then the asset will be delivered on spot basis, and the price or summon could be in installments or could be in bullet payment at the end on deferred basis. Okay, Bay al-istisna, this is a special kind of contract used for the manufacturing. If you want to construct something, you can use istisna contract. If you want to manufacture something, you can use the istisna contract. Then there is a Bay al-musawama. This is similar to Murabaha contract, that is cost plus profit, but without disclosing the cost price. Without disclosing the cost price. There is another type which is called Bay al-amana or buyu al-amana. This kind of contract, in this kind of contract, the cost price must be known to the purchaser. And these Bay al-amana is of 3 types. Number 1, we all know Murabaha, which is the sale above the cost price known to the purchaser. And there is sale called Bay at-tawliya, the sale which is equal to the cost price. Sale of goods equal to the cost price. There is no any profit for the institution. And there is sale called Bay al-hatita or Bay al-wadi'a, with dad, not with dal. If with dal, then that is the deposit contract. But if it is with dad, wadi'a means to reduce something. This sale is the in this sale the seller is selling his goods below the cost price. Okay, again we are coming to the same concept which we discussed under the aqd, but here we will go for more details. The elements of valid sale, arkan al-bay' as-sahih. What are these? Number one is the contract. Number two is the subject matter or mabiya, the selling goods. And number three is the price or thaman. And number four is the position or delivery or qabt. So let's see one by one. When we are saying contract, we define contract and we go through all the features, but there are some specific features. There must be offer and acceptance between the contracting party. The compensatory contracts or investment contracts or voluntary contracts or the supplementary contracts or even non-compensatory contracts like the nikah, like other contracts, there must be ijab and qabul. The contract will not execute without the offer and acceptance. Okay, what are the types of offer and acceptance? There are two types of offer and acceptance. One is called qawli or oral, and another one is implied, ishara. The oral one could be documented, could not be documented. The documented is the all our banking agreements, our sale agreements, where the customer is the purchaser and bank is the seller. So there will be a written agreement. And implied is of two types. One is called credit sale or istijrar, and another is called ta'ati or cash sale. What is the example of credit sale? Istijrar. Istijrar is the sale in which you are not paying on spot. You are purchasing items, and at the weekend or after 10 days or after at the month end, you are going and you are paying the price of all items which you purchase. This is called the credit sale or istijrar. And ta'ati is the cash sale, where you are going to you are going to the, for example, you are going to a shop and you see an item, the price is written 10 dirham, you are going to the counter and paying 10 dirham. There is no any negotiation, no any talking. You are paying 10 dirham and you are taking your item. This is called ta'ati. Okay, the offer and acceptance will be executed between whom? Between the contracting parties. Who are the contracting parties in the sale contract? The contracting parties are the seller and purchaser in the sale contract. What are the qualities of the buyers, of the mutaqidin, the buyer and seller? They must be sane. You cannot sell something to a mentally discarded person. You cannot purchase something from a majnoon or mentally discarded person. In the same time, the contracting parties must be enough mature that they will understand the transaction. They should be baligh, they should be mature. And the third thing is the conditions of the contract or the shurut al-aqd. Shurut al-aqd. We must keep in mind that the shurut al-aqd must be non-contingent and must be immediate. When we are saying non-contingent, what it means? It means the sale should not be based on any chance. For example, if you will say that I will sell you my car, but you have to employ my son in your bank. This is a conditional contract, and this is not permissible in Sharia. Then there are reasonable conditions, which we are normally called khiyarat. Here, for example, if you say, I will purchase from you goods if you will allow me to inspect. This is a reasonable condition and is allowed. Okay. Then there is a unreasonable condition, but in market practice, but not in violation of Sharia and in favor of the contracting party. This is, for example, if you say like you purchase a refrigerator, but will ask the seller to provide you 2 years service for 2 years, for example, a service contract. Service contract is not a part of sale, so is an unreasonable condition. But since it is in market practice, all sellers are giving service, so and it is not violating Sharia, and this is permissible. And then sale must be immediate. The future sale is not allowed. Future sale is not allowed. The Majlis al-Aqd, in the place where the contract is occurring, the exchange of things must be done, or at least one of them must be done. For example, if we agree to sell something on deferred sale basis, for example, on Murabaha basis, we will conclude the contract, we will agree on the price, we will agree on the terms and conditions, and the seller will give the asset or goods to the purchaser. Purchaser could say that I want to pay in installments, or I want to pay bullet payment at the end of the contract. That is allowed. So the contract is consummated, the contract is executed, it's concluded, and one of the thing is exchanged. The asset, the subject matter is given to the purchaser. So it is not called a future contract. The future contract is like the seller will say, I will sell you my car after 6 months, and the purchaser will say that I will purchase your car after 6 months. This is a commitment on future transaction, and something is happening in future, and you are committing from now. There is possibility of this kind of sale also, where one party will unilaterally say that I will sell you, or the other party will say I will purchase from you the asset after 6 months. But this is the wa'd, and on that specific date there must be the contract must be executed between the seller and the purchaser. Okay, among the elements of valid contract or arkan al-aqd, we have subject matter. Subject matter, the mabiya or goods, assets required to be sold. What are the specifications of the mabiya? Mabiya should be valuable. Mabiya should be existable. Seller must have title or risk, and then should be specific and quantified, and then it must be capable of delivery and possession, and it must be capable of transfer of title and ownership, and the last one, it must be usable. And third element is the price. The price must be quantified and must be specific. What is the meaning of quantified or ma'loom? For example, if someone is selling commodity, that the commodity measurement should be known. How much kilogram of that commodity, and what is the quality of that commodity, and what will be the price, and in which currency that price will be. So this is quantified malum. And also the price should be mutayyin, identified, should be specific. You cannot say that I will sell you 5 kg of rice by 5 dirham if you will pay the price this month. But if you will pay the price next month, then it will be 10 dirham. This kind of contract is a void contract. Then there is the fourth element is the possession or qabd. This is also called delivery. And qabd could be physical and could be constructive. What is the physical? The physical is the haqiqi, which is hand to hand. You are giving me price and I am giving you asset. So the exchange is happening physically. But there is some kind of commodities where the commodity is not exchangeable in hand. For example, you are purchasing 100 ton of aluminum or copper. Okay, so it is not possible to take the delivery physically. So you will see there is a commodity account, and in commodity account, the commodity will be deposited and you will be given a full access. Okay, and everything will be defined in the contract. That is it. And another example is like I sold something, but the price is very huge. So you don't want to get the cash in your hand. So you will ask me to deposit in your account, in the bank account. So I will go in your bank and I will deposit that money in your account and give you a slip that this is money and you have a complete access to your account and you can take it. This is the constructive position. Okay, we are coming now to a very important topic, which is the khayar or right to rescind a contract. This is also called option. The term khayar refers to the option or right of the buyer and seller to rescind a contract, to terminate a contract. The khayarat are many, but the major khayarat are 5. There is a khayar called khayar al-shart. This is called option to rescind the sale within specific period. If a seller will say, or a buyer or a purchaser will say that if I will come back after 4 days or 5 days or 6 days, okay, then I will have a right to terminate the contract. So if the exchanges happen, then each one should return the asset and the price to each other in its original shape, and the contract will be terminated. If it is from the seller side, then it will called khayar al-baya, and if it is from the purchaser side, then it is called khayar al-mushtari. Another type of khayar is called khayar al-aib, option of defect. We'll sell something, and after that there is a khayar option of defect in the contract, and after some time he observed that there is a defect in that thing, so he has a right, the purchaser has a right to terminate the contract and ask you the price and return the asset to you. There is khayar al-wasf, option of quality. You said the car is running 180 kilometer per hour, but when you sold it to me, I observed that it is not going beyond 100 kilometer. So the quality is not the same. So I have a right to rescind the contract if I put the option of quality in the agreement. there is khayar al-ru'ya, option of inspection of goods. And by the way, this khayar is automatically available in all sale contracts, because no sale will happen without inspection. Then there is khayar al-ghubn, option of price. If I will put a condition of option of price in the contract, then, and you said that what I am selling you is on the market price, okay, and later on I seen the market is very high, is very low, and you sold the thing very high on very high price, then I have a right to terminate the contract based on that false statement. And these are the ghubn. There is a ghubn fahish, and there is ghubn yasir. Ghubn fahish is the when the price is quoted very high price, and ghubn yasir is quoting a price little bit up and down from the market price, that no one is asking for ghubn yasir, but ghubn fahish is subject to the termination. At the end of this session, we have something called iqala, termination of contract. And termination of contract from Sharia perspective is not possible from one side. They both, the buyer and seller, will agree on the will agree on the termination of the contract. Iqala means termination of a contract which is allowed with mutual consent or subject to conditions of the contract. And now we can easily talk about the Murabaha. In Murabaha, first of all, we will learn the definition as usual, and then in definition, the ordinary definition of the Murabaha and the AAOIFI definition of the Murabaha. Then we will see the major differences between Murabaha and a conventional loan. And then we will see the step-by-step process flow of the Murabaha, how the Murabaha is working in Islamic finance institutions. What are the documents and contracts are required from Sharia perspective for a Murabaha transaction, that those also be inshallah discussed in this session. And after that, we will move to the AAOIFI Sharia standard. I believe if we cover the Murabaha, then AAOIFI Sharia standard will be easy to understand. Okay. When we are saying Murabaha, so the simplest definition of Murabaha is a sale of, in bracket, a pre-owned and possessed subject matter, mabi'a, by a seller by a sale price, cost plus profit, with a declared cost price, purchase price plus direct expenses to the purchaser. Now, from this definition, we can have 5 different statements. First of all, the definition is saying Murabaha is a sale. So, Murabaha is a sale contract. The second thing which we can observe from this definition is that the goods which we are going to sell to the customer must be owned by the seller, and these must be in the custody of in the possession of the Islamic finance institution. Then we are saying the sale price, and the price by which the institution wants to sell the asset to the customer is called the sale price. That sale price is including on the cost plus profit. And then the another statement which we can extract from this definition is that the cost price should be declared, should be known to the purchaser. And another thing which is very important is the nature of cost price. What is the cost price? The cost price is the purchase price of that asset by which the financial institution has purchased that asset, plus the direct expenses which the institution incurred in purchasing of that asset. As per the UAE Federal Civil Law number 5 of 1985, Article 506, Clause C, the purchaser reserves right to rescind, to terminate the contract if the cost price of the sold goods was not declared upfront. That if the seller has hid the cost price from the purchaser and he sold the asset, or he given a false statement, for example, he purchased by 5 dirham, he said I purchased by 6 dirham in order to increase his profitability, the customer, as per the UAE civil law, reserve right to terminate the contract, even if it is after 1 year or 2 years. AAOIFI definition is very simple. It is saying it is the sale of commodity by an institution to its customer as per the purchasing price cost with defined and agreed profit, which is the markup, as set out in the promise or wa'd, in which case it is called a banking murabaha. This is the definition of AAOIFI. And what are the mode of payments? Could be spot, murabaha could be spot, and could be deferred. If it is deferred, then equal monthly installment can be paid by equal monthly installments, could be paid by bullet payment, or any other payment method agreed between the seller and the purchaser. Let's talk about the major differences between the murabaha and the conventional loan. From the definition, it is clear that there is no any matching between them. But for those who are working in conventional banks, sometimes they are treating murabaha same like a conventional loan. I have segregated this section into 5 different differences between the murabaha and the conventional loan. First of all, murabaha is a sale of subject matter. Could be asset, could be commodity, could be usufruct. Where conventional loan is a sale of money. The profit rate in murabaha is fixed and absolute, where the interest rate is on bank discretion. Bank can increase the rate at any time, and even in the contract it is written that the bank reserves the right to amend the interest rate at any time. Bank must own and possess the subject matter prior to murabaha. This is must. Bank must purchase the asset, possess the asset, and then he is able to sell it to the customer or to the purchaser. Where in conventional loan, bank is granting a loan to the customer. No need for the ownership. Bank is not owning asset at all. There is no risk, there is no reward, nothing. Bank is just giving a loan to the customer, putting money in his account, and he is taking that money, and from that money he is purchasing the car or the other goods or any other asset. He is paying back. That is why when we are saying in Islamic, we are not using the word repayment, because we have not given any money to the customer that which he will repay it to. But in conventional bank, they are using the word repayment because they have given money to the customer, and the customer is giving back the money to the bank with the interest. Okay, in murabaha, commitment on rebate upfront is not allowed, is forbidden. That is, if something like you will say your profit amount is 20,000 and your principal amount is 100,000, but if you will pay before the time, I will give you a rebate of, for example, 1% or 2%. This is not allowed. But at the time of settlement, if the bank is giving on its own discretion any rebate, that is possible, and that is coming under the ihsan. As ihsan, if he want to leave something to the customer, it is up to him. Where in conventional, the interest is charged on daily basis. So when the customer will settle, till that date, whatever the interest is accrued, customer has to pay that. Then rescheduling or restructuring in Murabaha is forbidden on the same asset, on the same debt. There is no any restructuring. Where in conventional loan, rescheduling is a main source of income. Always you have one debt, they will reschedule it and they will take commission on loan, and with the higher rate, they will give you another. And then in case of non-performing finances, the financial institution is not allowed to increase any profit. Where in conventional, interest automatically increase in case of non-performing loan. Once the loan is non-performing, automatically it will move from one band to another, and when it will move to another band, in the second band, the rate of interest will be higher than the previous band. And then late payment fee must be donated to charity. There is no any late payment concept in Islamic banking. The late payment amount which the institutions are receiving, this is a commitment of the customer that if he will delay an installment, in that case, he will pay certain amount, 100 dirham, 200 dirham, 500 dirham, or 1%, 2% of the delayed amount to charity. Bank is not benefiting from this amount at all. Is not allowed to benefit from this amount. Late payment charges are bank income. It is going directly to the, in case of conventional loan, it is directly going to the bank profit and loss account. And in Murabaha, Sharia compliant activities, assets, goods, and projects are only allowed to be financed under Murabaha. Where for conventional loan, there is no ethical ground subject to complying with the country laws and regulations. If the country laws and regulations are allowing, there is no any ethical background. They can finance a cinema. They can they can give loan for anything which is not violating the country law. Okay, let me give you a brief idea about the step-by-step process flow of Murabaha. Murabaha, when we are saying Murabaha, we should be known that we are talking about the banking Murabaha, because Murabaha is of two types. One is the fiqhi Murabaha, which the ordinary traders they are using, and the another type is the banking Murabaha, which is an organized shape. There is a promise, and there is a Hamish Jiddiya, then there is purchase by the bank, then there is sale by bank. So it's an organized shape of multiple contracts and documents in one transaction. That is a Murabaha, banking Murabaha. But when we are saying a general Murabaha, that means a Murabaha which is defined from the Sharia or Islamic jurisprudence point of view, and that is the ordinary Murabaha. It's also called fiqhi Murabaha. So there are main three phases of the Murabaha, banking Murabaha transaction. Now, the first phase is the application and promise to purchase phase. What is happening in this phase? Customer is coming with quotation and he's bringing a quotation from the vendor. That is, he visited the vendor, he visited the showroom, and he selected an item. And for that, he took a quotation under the name of the finance institution, and he came to the bank and he submitted the quotation and asked the bank to finance him. So here the customer will fill an application and submit a quotation. After that, there will be a credit review, and if the credit department approved that case, then the customer will sign a promise to purchase. A promise to purchase is a part of application, Murabaha application. What is a promise to purchase? A promise to purchase, a unilateral commitment from the customer side that once the bank will acquire and purchase the asset for himself, for the bank, for the institution, then the customer will purchase that asset from him, which is defined in the quotation. And based on the promise to purchase, he will pay a security deposit, which is called Hamish al-Jiddiyah. So Hamish al-Jiddiyah, I will explain in some other slides when we are talking about the AAOIFI Sharia standard. At that time, I will explain that down payment is different than the Hamish al-Jiddiyah. But in normal circumstances, we are using the word down payment for the Hamish al-Jiddiyah. So he will pay Hamish al-Jiddiyah or security deposit to the institutions in order, if he will not fulfill his commitment, his promise, and he will not be able to purchase the goods from the bank, in that case, bank may compensate itself from the security deposit. Now the first phase is finished. Bank has got enough satisfaction that customer has intention to purchase, and he is going to purchase the asset from the bank if the bank will purchase that asset. So bank will first of all inspect that asset in light of the quotation, and after that the bank will issue a local purchase order, which is an offer from the bank side, and it will have all the terms and conditions for purchase of the asset. It will go to the vendor, and vendor will accept that. So once the offer is accepted by the vendor, the bank will become owner of that asset. So his acceptance will be an ownership, will result on the ownership and a position of the Islamic Finance institutions. Anything happening after this phase to the asset before conclusion of the Murabaha contract, then that will be risk of the institution. Now, bank or the Islamic finance institution will try to get rid of this asset as soon as possible. So the bank will call the customer, or maybe in the same showroom where the local purchase order was accepted by the vendor, the same showroom, the Murabaha contract will be signed by the customer, and bank will sell that asset by way of Murabaha to the customer. Okay, here some banks are allowing Murabahas on clean basis, but some others are taking enough collaterals from the customer. So any kind of Sharia compliant tangible collaterals required to bank, that is allowed from Sharia, permissible from Sharia point of view. You can take hypothecation of vehicle, you can take mortgage of even the same asset which is sold to the customer, mortgage of property, land, cash collateral, financial guarantees, personal guarantees, any kind of collateral which is not in violation of Sharia is permissible. And then the Murabaha debt, which is the Murabaha sale price, will be executed in the core banking system, and it will be registered as a debt under the name of the customer. Now, customer has to pay that debt. Above that debt, there is it is not allowed at all to pay even a single penny to the institution. Okay, what are the documents and contracts which are required for a Murabaha transaction? First of all, we need promise to purchase. Then we need Hamish al-Jiddiya or security deposit. There is a special form for that in the finance institutions where the customer is paying down payment to the vendor on behalf of the institution. Then we need an inspection report. Then we need asset purchase agreement, or we normally banks are calling it local purchase order, which is the LPO. And then we need also a Murabaha contract. And in order to deliver the asset to the customer and he will confirm and acknowledge that he received the asset, there must be a delivery order as a format, special format designed for that. And there is the and at the end, customer acknowledgement that he received and the transaction is finished and everything is in line with the contract. The main thing is the promise to purchase here, the asset purchase contract, and the Murabaha contract. The other things, these are optional. The institution can make it up as per their policy. So now I believe we define Murabaha enough, and it is now possible for us to understand the AAOIFI Sharia standard number 8, Murabaha. What is AAOIFI? AAOIFI is a standard setting body located in Bahrain, and it's working since 1989, and hundreds of financial institutions are the member of the AAOIFI, and AAOIFI is issuing standards for the Islamic finance institutions. So far they have issued 62 Sharia standards, 24 accounting standards, 4 governance standards, and I think two ethics centers. The AAOIFI Sharia standard of Murabaha is one of the oldest standards, and the institutions are working based on this standard from the day first, because the Murabaha is a new product to the Islamic banking industry. Before 30 years or 35 years, no one knows about Murabaha. The banks were working on Mudaraba basis and Musharaka basis, investment contract basis. But later on, when the Murabaha was introduced and the AAOIFI has set the Murabaha standard, then the Islamic banking entered into a new era. Now, if you will see the balance sheet size of all Islamic finance institutions, you will get the big portfolio, financing portfolio is related to Murabaha. And based on Murabaha, there are many products designed in the Islamic finance institutions. Almost all those products where the bank is not having any asset, for example, the land or home or property, they are using the Murabaha standard for all kind of purchases, for all kind of sales. They are using Murabaha for share financing, for sukuk financing, for goods financing, for auto, for even for the liquidity generation, they are using the Tawarruk module or commodity Murabaha structures. All these are designed on the basis of Murabaha. So let's see the specifications of or the do's or don'ts which are defined in the AAOIFI Sharia standard in this standard. The standard is designed in very good way, that it is giving you the idea of the phases which are required in Murabaha. There are activities defined before the Murabaha, and then the standard is going to the qualities and the specifications of Murabaha at the phase where the bank is purchasing the asset, and then the Murabaha transaction occurring between the seller and the bank and the customer, and at the end it is giving the idea about the collateral and the guarantees and securities and the receivables. So let's see one by one. Activities before Murabaha sale. First of all, the quotation. What should be the specification of quotation? The asset goods should be clearly mentioned without any ambiguity. The asset goods should be Sharia compliant, should be halal trading, prefer to be under the IFI name, Islamic Institute name, and could be from multiple suppliers, sellers with multiple suppliers or sellers with option to choose the best. Normally, this is not happening in the institutions. The customer who is the one who is deciding about the vendor, and he is bringing the quotation to the institution, or the vendor may send the quotation to the institution, but banks are not asking for multiple suppliers or sellers. Then the activities before Murabaha sale, precautions before execution of Murabaha contract. Prior offer and acceptance between the seller and customer is not permissible. If relationship exists, then the contract between the seller and customer must be terminated by iqala haqiqiyya or actual termination. See, the main idea is that the institution will purchase the asset first. Okay, once it possess, then it will sell it to the customer. If a relationship exists between the customer and the vendor, then Murabaha will not occur. So if there is any contractual relationship between the customer and the vendor, that relationship must be terminated. Murabaha with the same seller from whom Mabia has been purchased is not permissible, because it will become a bay'ina. For example, I have a mobile, I will sell it to you and then repurchase it from you. So the second price must be higher than the first price, otherwise I will not make a profit. Okay, and the second price will be deferred. So these are the specification of bay'ina. Therefore, with the same purchaser, it is not allowed, not permissible. Murabaha with the blood relatives is permissible. For example, with the father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, it is allowed. But always the institutions are trying to not enter to this kind of contractual relationship, because sometimes there will be a trick to create liquidity or generate liquidity. With that trick is called in Sharia hila Sharia. Murabaha in currencies, gold and silver is not permissible, because those are ruled under the surf contract, and Murabaha in silver and gold and currencies not allowed. And renewal of Murabaha on the same goods with the same customer is not permissible. As we said in point 2, okay, if it is not allowed with the same seller, then how it will be allowed with the same customer? Because the customer is the owner of the asset. If you want to make a new Murabaha with him, it means we want to purchase from him with a lower price and resell it to him with a higher price, and the second sale will be a deferred sale. So it will be a perfect aina, which is not allowed from Sharia perspective. Then we have activities before Murabaha, promise to purchase. And we define the precautions, we define the quotation, and now we need to define the promise to purchase. Promise to purchase must be unilateral commitment from the customer side. and even it will be signed by the customer only. There will be no the promisee signature. Only the promisor will sign. Bilateral undertaking is forbidden. We explained this in the sale section, that future sale is not allowed. At that time, the bank is not owner. So if there will be a bilateral commitment, that will be a future sale. Promise to purchase must be specific. That is, selling goods details, price and amount and currency, etc., must be specified in promise to purchase. Promise to purchase must have the same details which are required to be in the sale Murabaha sale contract. So the Murabaha sale contract is a true copy of the promise to purchase with some additional, definitely additional requirements and conditions. Amendment in promise to purchase is permissible with mutual consent, but before purchase of the asset, not post purchase of asset or execution of Murabaha. Then we are talking about Hamish al-Jiddiyah. Here in this slide, I will give you a difference between the Hamish al-Jiddiyah, security deposit, and down payment, and Arbun. First of all, we should know what is Hamish al-Jiddiyah. Hamish al-Jiddiyah is a kind of security deposit paid by customer against his promise to purchase of asset from Islamic Finance Institution. If customer refused to enter into a Murabaha contract and IFI incurred any loss, IFI allowed to receive compensation from the Hamish al-Jiddiyah amount. Otherwise, full Hamish al-Jiddiyah must be refunded to customer. So Hamish al-Jiddiyah is basically a security deposit which is given by a customer to show his intention that he is willing to purchase the asset from the customer, from the bank. Now there is something called Arbun. Arbun is a token money paid by purchaser to the seller against a sale contract. Arbun is a part of sale. See, Hamish al-Jiddiyah or security deposit is not a part of the contract. At that time, at the time when the bank is the Islamic institution is taking Hamish al-Jiddiyah from the customer, there is no any contract. There is only one promise from the customer side. The bank did not purchase the asset. Arbun is allowed when you are selling something. You did not own the asset. How you will sell the asset to the customer? So at that time there is no Arbun. Arbun is allowed only when there is a purchase contract or sale contract executed between the parties. See, the contract is executed for example, a sale price of 100,000, okay, and the purchaser is giving 10,000 dirham to the seller, saying this is the Arbun amount, this is the token money. So the contract is executed post that the Arbun amount is given. Where in Hamish al-Jiddiyah there is no contract at that time. It's only a promise from the customer side. So it is only a security deposit. This is the main difference between Arbun and Hamish al-Jiddiyah. Now coming to the down payment. When as per the UAE Central Bank, the institutions, the customers are required to pay 20% down payment to the vendor. Now, when the customer is going to the vendor, he's supposed to pay 20% to the vendor. Now, we as Islamic institution telling the customer, if you have a contractual relationship with the vendor, we will not finance you, because you have already entered into a contract with the vendor. So what is the solution? The solution is that if the bank will purchase asset from the vendor, then the bank is required to pay down payment to the vendor. So a customer is, when he is entering into a finance contract, a Murabaha finance, he requests a Murabaha finance from the institution. At that time, he is required to pay Hamish al-Jiddiyah to the institution. So instead of paying Hamish al-Jiddiyah to the institution is asking him to pay the same amount as a down payment to the vendor. So the down payment amount paid to the vendor will be on behalf of the finance institution. In short, customer is required to pay to Islamic Finance Institution Hamish al-Jiddiyah, and IFI is supposed to pay down payment to the vendor. For set of purposes, customer is using the Hamish al-Jiddiyah amount for payment of down payment to the vendor on behalf of IFI. I think now it is clear what is Hamish al-Jiddiyah and what is Arbon, and how we are paying the in the IFIs, how we are paying the down payment amount to the vendor. The standard is also having a feature, having article which is giving some restriction on charges and fee, and also allowing some other kind of fee. For example, commission on Murabaha and commitment fee and credit facility fee, these fees are not allowed as per the AAOIFI Sharia standard. And the permissible fee and charges are the agreement and documents preparation fee. It is allowed for the IFI to receive this fee. Feasibility study fee, since the bank has expertise, they can make a feasibility study fee. They can make a feasibility study report for the customer and take fee. And this report will be given to the customer regardless of the customer is entering into finance with the bank owner, because he has paid a fee for this feasibility report. Due diligence fee is allowed, and in case of syndications, arrangement fee is also allowed. Now we are coming to the phase where the bank is purchasing and owning and possessing the asset. Number one, purchase of assets should be under legally binding written agreement between the Islamic bank and seller, that which we call LPO, offer and acceptance, and this must be signed between the parties. If the Sharia auditor will go and see that the LPO is signed by the bank, the offer is given by the bank but not accepted by the vendor, and the Murabaha is executed, the profit of this transaction will be repugnant, and it will be moved from the bank profit account to the charity account. Asset must be inspected by the Islamic institution or its agent before acceptance of the seller. It is allowed for the institution to inspect by himself or nominate some agent for the inspection. They can nominate the same customer as their agent as well. IFI will become owner with all rewards, risk and liabilities post exchange and execution of offer and acceptance between the seller and the Islamic Finance Institution. Once the bank has purchased, then the bank is responsible for the asset. There will be no responsibility, no claim from the customer. IFI must take physical or constructive possession of the asset. This is must, because if there is no ownership, the institution is not allowed to sell by way of Murabaha the asset to the customer. The Prophet ﷺ said, "La tabi' ma laysa indak," that is, don't sell what is not available with you or not owned by you. IFI shall bear the loss incurred to the asset after purchase of asset and before execution of the Murabaha contract. IFI is responsible for insurance of asset during this time if needed. If the bank purchased and customer is not approachable, and the period between the execution of Murabaha and the acceptance of the vendor is very big, then bank supposed to think about doing insurance of that asset for that period, because if there is any loss, that loss will be incurred by the bank, not by the customer, and it will not be compensated from the security deposit amount. Wakala for purchase of asset from supplier is permissible. for example, the vendor is not willing to sell the asset to the bank. Okay, so in that case, the bank will nominate the customer as its wakil or agent to purchase on its behalf, to purchase on behalf of the institution, on behalf of the bank. Once he will purchase, then he will inform the bank that I purchased for you, for the institution. Then they will enter into the Murabaha contract, where the bank will sell the asset to the customer. Wakala for inspection of asset is permissible. For example, bank is not having any resources, so the bank will nominate the same customer or any other agent to inspect the asset for him, for them. Wakala for delivery and position of asset is also permissible. Now we are coming to the main part of the AAOIFI Sharia standard. Conclusion of a Murabaha contract. Murabaha will not conclude automatically. It requires proper exchange of offer and acceptance. And that is sign of Murabaha contract between the Islamic Finance Institution and the customer. As we said earlier, in the purchase contract, where the exchange of offer and acceptance is mandatory, here also the exchange of offer and acceptance is mandatory. But here we are signing a complete Murabaha contract with the customer. Murabaha agreement should clearly specify the cost price of asset, bank profit and total sale price, frequency of installment, number of installments, Murabaha start and end date. It is not enough to mention total amount of Murabaha for certain number of years. And it is not enough to mention total amount of Murabaha for certain number of years. It's repeated. Then we said late payment fee should be clearly mentioned, that it is a donation, tabarra, to be paid to charity under the guidance of the ISSC, or the Internal Sharia Supervision Committee. So ISSC is basically the Sharia board of the institution. As per law number 2 of year 2015, the institutions, the Islamic institution, must use ISSC, Internal Sharia Supervision Committee, instead of Sharia board. Murabaha rate should be absolute and definite and pre-agreed with the client, which will be fixed throughout the life of Murabaha. So it means the Murabaha sale price will not be increased, will not be amended, will not be changed at any spot of time during the life of Murabaha. Once it is agreed, once it is fixed, then and the contract is executed and the asset is booked in the core banking system, then there will be no change in the Murabaha. Murabaha rate could be decided based on IBAR on the day of booking, but it will remain unchanged forever. Yes, yeah. The Murabaha profit rate could be decided on any benchmark, not only IBAR. You can decide it on the basis of LIBOR, KIBOR, or any other benchmark, even if that benchmark is non-Sharia compliant. IBOR itself is not a Sharia compliant benchmark. But we have no any concern with the benchmark. We are making our pricing based on IBOR. We are saying this is my profit rate. That profit rate is based on IBOR or any other benchmark. It has nothing with the contract. What the customer will agree on that. We are not allowed to change the rate frequently with the change of IBOR. No, at the date of booking, at the date of execution of the contract, whatever the benchmark, on basis on that benchmark, we can decide the Murabaha profit rate. Khayar Rahib should be carried out in the agreement, and bank has to give a right to the client that client on behalf of bank approach the original buyer, the supplier, in case of appearance any defect after execution of Murabaha contract. Basically, the purchaser from the vendor is the bank. So the right khiyar al-aib, or the right of rescind of contract in case of defect, is given to the bank, but bank is transferring that right from assigning that right to the customer, transferring from himself to the customer. That because bank is not using that thing, the customer is using. So once the customer will purchase the asset, then he will have the right to approach the vendor in case if there is any defect, if there is any problem. Title must be transferred to client, otherwise Murabaha will be void. This is necessary. In case of Ijara, it is not happening, because in case of Ijara, bank will remain owner of the asset from the day first till the maturity of the contract, and the bank will be a lessor and the customer will be lessee. But in Murabaha, it is different. If the title will not transfer to the customer or to the purchaser, then Murabaha contract is void. Clients should take delivery of asset, otherwise sale will be void. Guarantees and treatment of Murabaha receivables. This is the last topic of this session. It is permissible to put condition of liquidation of Murabaha debt in case of default. For example, if you will put that in the contract that if customer will default for 2 installments or 3 installments, the institution will reserve right to liquidate the Murabaha and ask the full price from the customer. This is allowed, this is permissible. And also from the Sharia standard number 3, it is also allowed to put this kind of condition. It is permissible to ask tangible collaterals, for example, mortgage of property, block of funds, mortgage of machines and vehicles, personal guarantees, pledge of Sharia compliance shares, and other collaterals in compliance with Sharia. It is also permissible to take power of attorney for sale of asset from the client, that in case of default, bank will sell the mortgaged asset without customer consent under intimation to him. From Sharia perspective, it is allowed. However, recently I came to know from Suwaidi and Partners, the law office, that this condition is violating the civil and commercial transaction laws. It is permissible to mortgage the same asset which was sold. For example, we purchased car and we sold it to the bank, purchased the car and sold it to the customer. Now customer is not having any other collateral. What he will do? So the bank will ask him to mortgage the same asset with the bank as a collateral, not as a ownership of the bank. The ownership must be transferred and title must be transferred to the customer. It is permissible to take post-dated checks from the customer. It is not permissible to reschedule the Murabaha debt amount. It is not permissible to increase the duration of Murabaha with increase in profit. For example, in case of postponement, Murabaha could be extended without increasing the amount. Okay. Sometimes customer is coming and asking to postpone his 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 installments. Now, if you will postpone installment, then definitely the maturity will extend. For example, if it was 48 months and you have extended 6 installments, then the maturity will extend to 54 months. Now, is it allowed to take profit of these 6 months which are extended? No. Whatever the period you have extended, bank is not allowed to take any profit from the customer for that extended period. It is not permissible to increase the profit amount or rate in case of non-performing. We explained this earlier also. In case of non-performing, a bank is not allowed to take any additional profit. Partial settlement of Murabaha is permissible, but keeping in mind that it will not affect the sale price. If customer is paying for the reason that bank will give him rebate, it is on the discretion of the bank. Bank may give rebate, may not give rebate. Upfront commitment for IBRA or rebate for early settlement is not permissible. We explained this also before. Set off allowed by a currency other than the currency of debt. For example, we grant a Murabaha in local currency and customer wants to settle in euro or yen or any other currency. We have to check the currency rate, exchange rate of that date, of the date of this settlement, and accordingly we will settle the Murabaha. By this, we have finished our today's session. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Thank you very much, Sheikh, for explaining everything in detail. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure a lot of people have benefited from it. And they are looking forward to your next seminar. So without further ado, I will call Mr. Ziaullah Siddiqui, founder and CEO of TAIF Digital Institute, to take the mic and ask the cute question from the session. Mr. Ziaullah Siddiqui.